If there is any stuck point from any places, please hold me and ask me question. So the topic name is business intelligence. Okay. First of all, I'm giving some scenario. Why business intelligence is required. So this is one of the example. We have a particular, suppose a particular business owner, he's owning a particular shopping mall. Okay. His shopping mall is having 10 outlets in 10 different cities. Now he's trying to check what he need to do, what he needs to do to increase his business, to increase his revenue. Okay. So I can see in the pictorial, I mean, those pictorial diagram over here. So the sales data we are capturing from each of the outlet. Okay. Sales data, sales data from each of the outlet. And we are collecting all the information. How we are collecting? I think you are already aware that when we are just going to purchase anything in outlet, we need to enter the data. So what is our name? What is our phone number? What is the billing? I mean, what quantity, which product I have bought there? If there is any discount, what is the market price? Those all the things are being entered in the machine. Even when we are giving any feedback, the feedback is also getting stored there. It's not just for their purpose. I mean, it's simply there. I mean, just ignoring the feedback. It's not this kind of scenario. They're analyzing the feedback of this customer and they're also using the same data to improve their business as well. Okay, so that is how in the pictorial diagram we are collecting all the sales data from each of the outlet. BI application will help to integrate all the data from different outlet. Okay, and at the end when we are designing the report is based on, report is nothing but some visualization tool is there. On top of this visualization tool, they're creating different reports, just like some charts, some graphs. Okay. And those charts and graphs will be answering the questions of, I mean, those questions are answerable. Sales in the previous quarter, revenue growth in past 5 years, best selling product in each season. So this kind of question can easily be answerable. Okay. And based on, I mean, this is just a few example. I just put it over here. There are lots of things can be answerable as the output of BI application. So those are the hidden, I mean, we can get some hidden pattern. So what we need to do to improve our business, the hidden pattern is known. Maybe there are, if we're collecting the data daily basis, maybe we have millions of records. Okay. I mean, it's simple. We are doing, I mean, collecting sales data from each of the region. Definitely, we need to do a union clause because we need to analyze on top of everything. Okay. And when the final output is provided to the business user, it should be shown by graphs and chart to answer all those questions. Okay. Let's have a quick look on another system. Okay. You can see this is our source system, means when we are entering the data, means when the customers are entering the data is getting stored in a particular database that is called OLTP database. I'll be coming in details what is OLTP database. So you can think this is a source system of data. So the database engineer scope will be starting from OLTP databases only. They should not have to worry about how the data is getting loaded into this system, because there is another interface team. Just like I think you must have heard about the SAP team, you must have heard about the mainframe team. So they are, I mean, some like, I mean, maybe someone is working in web interface. So they're creating the web and they're designing the web such a way that if we are entering the form, a particular field I'm writing something, writing some data over there. So how the data is getting loaded into which table? So they are configuring it, and our scope, our means the database engineer scope should be starting from here only. We are receiving all the data in OLTP system. We are loading the data to data warehouse. And in between, you can see there's a ETL things written over here. So ETL will be helping us to load the data from source system to data warehouse. Data warehouse is nothing but another database where we are storing the data. Why we are storing the data from here to here? We can use the same OLTP as a data warehouse, but we are not doing that because OLTP data is not clean data. We are receiving the raw data. Whatever customer is going to put, we are just receiving it. There is, I mean, lots of wrong thing is there, lots of transactional issues are there. So we need to rectify everything. That is been done by this ETL. Okay. And those things we can also call meaningless data. And we are converting those things in a meaningful data in data warehouse. Okay. I found some question. What's the abbreviation of OLTP and ETL set? Yeah, I'll be quickly coming those topics one by one. ETL, the ETL means extract, transform, load. I'll be coming this thing quickly. OLTP, ETL. Maybe ETL I'll be covering the details thing by tomorrow's session. And OLTP it's coming. Maybe after 1 or 2 slides, I'll be covering this thing. Okay. So when data warehouse is prepared, DW means data warehouse. Then it's ready for the reporting because we have all the meaningful data over here. It's ready for the reporting tool to report the data. Means we can create the charts and graphs on top of this good data. Okay. And over here, when this is prepared, it is provided to the main business user who will be taking the decisions that, yeah, our business is going found. We no need to do nothing to do with a new strategy. Okay. So this is the thing. If we need a strategy, maybe our shopping is, I mean, our revenue is not going well in the last quarter. We need to give some more discount to attract some people. So this kind of strategy they need to take. Just like some shopping mall, just like Flipkart or Walmart, anything. They're checking the things are not going well. Maybe particular products are not getting sold. They are giving some more discounts for particular days for the customers to draw their attention. Yeah, someone is telling something. Please tell me. Okay, Allah Ripple, is there? I mean, this is your first class, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you have covered some of the classes in last 2 weeks on top of SQL. So please, check those recordings if there is any stuck point. And we started a new class on top of BI that is called Business Intelligence. This is for everyone. I think Kamax, you just joined. So BI we just started. Business Intelligence is our topic for today and tomorrow as well. So this is BI intelligence. I mean business intelligence. It's the main thing required for a data engineers to a business. I mean why we are required? Why database engineers are required for each and every industry? So this is the reason we are important. Okay, so whoever just joined as a new class, you can carry on this class. There'll be no issue. And please also check the previous recordings. Okay, to clear your SQL concept. This is totally independent. Lots of functional knowledge should be there, and you should be clear totally. If you're going to going to get a project from a particular company or any other thing. So which particular things you will be working, which particular things you will be interested, that will also clear your concept. So OLTP is the main data source system where we are loading the data from where we are loading the data to data warehouse by ETL tool. Then when the data warehouse is ready, the reporting team they can create charts and graphs and it will be presented in front of business user or strategy maker. They can take the strategy, what should be the strategy, business strategy for the next days. Okay, So they are taking the strategies and that should be reflected in the source system again. So it's a cycle. Maybe they are doing some discounts. So that will be affected in the next day's OLTP database. Okay, not these days. These days business is over. They'll be checking the graphs and charts and taking the decisions and putting the strategy to improve their business improvement. Okay, lowering some prices, maybe hiring some prices based on the demand as well. So they are basically commerce people or data scientists. No, they're not data scientists. They mainly have done their business administration, management of business administration, MBA, or maybe from commerce side. They're they specifically they are the company's own people. Okay, now let me show you the ETL tool. I have also worked in ETL. So we need to load the data from source system to target system data warehouse by this ETL. So over here in our scope, we can be a ETL developer. Okay, extract, transform, load developer. Lots of tools are there as the ETL. So what are the tools or everything? I'll be just quickly coming all the things in details in the next slides. We can be ETL developer. That's the thing I am telling. We can be data warehouse developer. Specifically, it should be morely focused on only SQL part. Okay. We can be reporting layer. That is for data analytics purpose. When the data warehouse is ready, we can use some tools just like Tableau, ClickSense, Power BI. Those are all reporting tools. So based on those tools, we can create suitable charts and graphs. So this is another scope for the database engineers to develop their reports. So this is another way to show your talent. So there is another scope of your activity. So any one of this we can take in our future as our role in our project as a database engineer. Either it can be ETL developer or it can be data warehouse developer or maybe combination of both of them. Generally, a particular person should not be handling both ETL and reporting, but a people having large experience, they can have the just like they have the architect role. Then they need to check all of these things. The integration between ETL and reporting as well. Okay, so that is why ETL and reporting. A particular person can take the role up to ETL developer or reporting developer or the support member as well. The developed thing is already there. We are supporting this. That is also, for that thing also you need to know the proper knowledges. Okay, and this is how BI cycles works. It's a cycle thing that's I mentioned, and it's there for improving the next day's business. So when the strategy is already been taken and been implemented, the very next day when we getting the output from the reporting layer, you can check yes, the business has been improved. Whatever we have expected, it's there only. Okay, but it's not too fast process. Maybe we are taking the decisions and the things can be reflected maybe some days. Okay, maybe I have increased some product, but in the very next day the product are not been sold. So I cannot check my improvement in this next day's reporting because the product is not been sold yet. So maybe after some days, when the product has been sold, maybe the numbers has been increased to thousands or just like this. Then we can able to understand yes that our decisions were correct or our decisions were wrong. Whatever things we will be doing, that thing we can get able to understand in the very few days. Okay, any doubt so far about the BI cycle? This is very important concept. How BI cycle is working. Any doubt from anyone? Okay, I hope no. Moving to the next topic. Yes. So what is OLTP? OLAP. Yeah, Rishita, this is your questions. What is OLTP? The full form of OLTP is online transaction processing system. Okay. So whatever transaction things has been done at the online side, at the source side, very source. especially the web team. I mean, maybe you are developing some Java or JavaScript code. Designing some form. I mean, there you are. Suppose you are just filling up some form. Maybe I'm just from an insurance company. I need to take some insurance. I mean, coverage. I'm giving some. um amount for policies and all. So whatever information I'm putting over there, it's getting stored in a tables. Okay. So those tables are the online transactional processing tables, OLTP tables. It's the raw tables having unclean data. So online transaction processing systems are the class of systems that can manage, facilitate, and support operational or transaction oriented applications. For examples, banking transactions, sales transaction in retail store, railway booking and cancellation. So all those things, whatever data we are getting from the source system. For railway booking in India, if you can check when we are just going for booking any tickets, the particular person who is there in railway counter, in their computer, there are mainframe systems only. Okay, so they are putting our information, but when they are submitting the thing is getting stored in somewhere, some tables in some database. Okay, the same thing is there. So it's also OLTP system. Okay, so this is called OLTP. And what is OLAP? OLAP? OLAP means the data is ready for analytical processing. Means when we are storing the data in data warehouse, and when we are preparing the final data ready for reporting layer, means the data is ready, we can perform this thing, the analysis. Analysis can be performed on top of this table. When we are preparing this kind of tables, this is called online analytical processing systems. Those kind of tables are called this online analytical processing systems, because those are ready for analysis purpose. Okay, OLTP tables are not ready for analysis purpose. That is why we are introducing these three layers over here. If this layer is fine for reporting, then these two things are not been required. We can directly going to reporting layer. But ETL team and data warehouse teams is much more required to update your data or to transform your data such a way that it is, it's a good thing, or some good data is there in data warehouse, so that we can go ahead with reporting too. Okay. So online analytical processing systems are the class of systems that are used to analyze information. This typically requires large volume of data. Okay. The database should be large. OLAP systems have relatively low volume of transaction. Yeah, definitely we have low volume of transactions. OLAP systems are designed to handle the complex queries. Queries mean the SQL queries that are used to discover trends and patterns. And these queries are usually executed on data warehouse. Okay. And when our data warehouse is ready, then as I mentioned that the particular analytics team or reporting team can create the reports. There can be a different team called data scientist team or AI team. They can also took this data and they can analyze their own way to get the hidden pattern. Some hidden trend is there which we are not able to see by checking only the data. But if we just implement some stat or some regression thing on top of this data, so how the data is going, maybe in future, if we are going in this way, what should be in our future? So we can forecast the future as well by checking the OLAP data. And based on that, we can also improve our business. So this is how data is playing. Rather, we can say OLAP data is playing a great role for that business. Okay. Moving to the next slide. Okay. OLAP data and OLTP data both are stored in a particular database. maybe OLTP data I have stored in my MySQL database, and OLAP data I have stored in maybe Redshift database, AWS Redshift. So this is totally depends on the architecture program. Who has the requirement? They have all the costings or budget for that particular project. They need to determine which database needs to choose for which purpose. Okay. Before that, they need to ideate. What kind of data volume should be there at the target. Okay. What kind of transaction should be there? They need to check then costing part as well. Okay, and the efficiency part, how much faster the database is, whether really that much faster required for my database. So this kind of questions they need to think, and after that they will be launching the particular, or they will be having the requirement that we need that particular database as OLAP system and this particular database for OLTP system. Okay, so after that we can check it. Okay, Bharti, I think you just accidentally opened the video. Yeah, no issue. So now moving to what is data warehouse, the concept of data warehouse. So just a flow chart once more time. I have put it over here. No, I missed this slide. Okay, two slide I have missed. I mean skipped. So decision support system. I just put this thing earlier. So decision support system, that should be company's own team. Basically, what should I have? Suppose the client is a particular insurance company or maybe a particular banking company, and they are just taking the resource for those ETL developer, reporting developer from a third party team or from a vendor team. Okay, they are just producing the reports and all, and they're pushing the thing in front of decision support system. And basically that decision support system, this team is coming from those are company's own member. Okay, you can see in the banking sectors they are also recruiting some IT people. They're also having some business intelligence people. So they have been there. Some commerce level. Economics or lots of they have done commerce part. So basically, those are companies' own people who are working as a decision support system. They are checking those kind of questions, and they're taking the decisions from the I mean the next business strategy, what should be the strategy and all. They're taking those decisions. Okay, this is one example how this is a OLAP data and how that can be converted into beautiful charts and graphs, which are lots of questions can be answered by checking those charts and graphs. Okay, so this is how reporting tool works. Okay, now it's data warehouse. What is data warehouse and what are the flowchart? I have just mentioned the flowchart once more time. So here the data entry operator, they are doing the transactions, and the transactions are being stored in operational database, that is called OLTP. Okay. So when the data is getting stored, especially in business hour, obviously means morning time. When what particular time generally people going to shopping mall? At the morning time till early evening. Okay, after that the malls outlets are being closed. Okay, during the non-business hours, the data is loaded. Whatever new data we have received for today's transaction, the data is getting loaded by the ETL tool during non-business hours to the data warehouse. Okay, so this is called data warehouse. This is data warehouse can be another database that I mentioned, and then the report is being produced on top of the updated record. and that is being shown to manager. Maybe whatever, yesterday, whatever new data we have received, the very next day morning, those manager can be watching the report, because there should be some time for ETL data load and the report refresh. The report should be also be refreshing. Report is pointing to the data warehouse. Now, after getting loaded the new records from the source system, new rows has been arrived. We are loading this data warehouse data with the new rows. Then the report needs to be refreshed again with the new data. Okay, so this is the daily basis job. Whatever new records are coming, those needs to be reflected in the reporting side as well before presenting to the manager. Yeah, we had a question. Why only non-business hours? Yeah, because if we took, when the job is, maybe at the morning time, when the data is getting stored over here, there is two, three reason actually. Based on the, yeah, there is obviously one term, business, how much critical the business is. Specifically, ETL runs daily once or daily twice, just like this. So when we'll be running the job, we'll be expecting 2 days business is closed. Okay. Because suppose we run the job one time ETL job, maybe at the business hours, data is getting loaded over here. After that, we found lots of records come and the very same day again. Okay. So those data are been, we did not loaded. So whatever report is being presented in front of manager, that is having incomplete data of the previous day's data. That is why we should have to wait for the data store should be completed at the OLTP system. Then only we can produce the same thing. We have larger volume of the data to showcase the hidden pattern, or to showcase the pattern of yesterday's business. Okay, this is one of the thing. Now you can tell, if we have business criticality, that we need the data, we need the refresh of the data, very soon, maybe 1 hour basis. Yeah, that can be definitely doable, but this is obviously depends on the business. And there is some criticality is there, but no such criticality, this much thing specifically, specifically all the uh, business teams or all the high level companies, they're following these rules. They're collecting all the information in the business hours, and in the non-business hours they're loading the data. And there is one more reason. So this is OLTP system. We are pushing, the data entry operator, they are pushing the data over here. So this database is taking some loads. In the same time, if we are pulling the data as a ETL team from this, we are, some things are pushing over here, something are pulling over here at the same point of instance. There should be heavy load on top of this database. Okay, it can be a server. Server means a computer. We are pushing something, we are copying and pasting in the same folder. Okay, you can see it's the process is how much slow. That is why we generally, when we are doing copying, we can complete the copy, or we are pasting the thing, we are pasting it. So that is why when we are pushing it, generally we should not pull that time over here to, that is why, we can decrease the load on top of this databases. Okay, this is one more reason. So at the daytime, we are waiting for all the business transaction to be completed. At the non-business hours, we can push it over here. Is it clear? Uh, Rishit, I think you asked. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. As per your question, we have some other things I'll be showing. We have some real-time data stored, that is called ODS, operational data stored. I'll be just coming this topic within 1 or 2 slides. Over that, that should also clear your concept. ODS is being used for a real-time data. So whatever data is being stored over here at the OLTP, we are quickly fetching those things in ODS, not in data warehouse. So this is one kind of data representation as well. But in most of the scenarios for the business we are working, They are specifically follow the data warehouse. Some of the business users, they are following ODS. As I mentioned, it's totally based on business requirement. How first we require the data, how first we need to show the data in front of the business owner. Okay. Okay. Now I'm just focusing on top of data warehouse. This is some theoretical part on data. Data warehouse can be subject oriented, integrated, time variant, non-volatile. So data warehouse data is very much, I mean, we need to secure it because I mean, lots of downstream team. Downstream team means lots of teams should be working on top of this data warehouse data. So the particular uh, team who are designing the particular approach, maybe they have to choose a particular database. They need to choose the database such a way that this should be highly available. There should not be any power shutdown which should be causing any error on top of this data warehouse. There should not be nothing that is erasing the data. So suppose I stored all the data by today. The data warehouse is having suppose last 15 years of records, so that we can check our past and we can take easy decisions from the past as well. So that is why we are telling that it's a non-volatile time variant. So data cannot be erased accidentally. Okay, maybe tomorrow I'm checking that the data has been deleted. Maybe last 10 years data has been deleted. We are only having the current year's records, which is a big issue over here. Because the data scientist, I mean, the statistics especially depends on the statistics, everything. Data scientist or anything, they are doing the stats on top of data. So that is why stat is helpful only if we have large volume of data. Then only we can get a proper regression where the business is going. Okay, so that is why we need lots of data to be stored in data warehouse, and the database is such that they should be maintain this kind of parameter, and the developer also have to follow the same regulation. It should be subject oriented. A data warehouse can be a single subject can be stored in a data warehouse. Integrated, yeah, all the data should be integrated that I mentioned. Just like different outlets are there, but we are keeping everything in a single data warehouse. The billing related information or sales related information, we are keeping it to the single data warehouse. It can be time variant. The old record should also be present over here. Non-volatile, it should not be deleted. Data should be always present over here. Okay. Now, data warehouse architecture. This is another flowchart with some detailing level from the source to target I'm presenting over here. So that the things I have mentioned over here few times ago, those are the source system database. Okay. It can be Excel as well, or it can be different databases as well. So just like mainframe systems, we are pushing the data over here, not we, the source system. There can be Excel sheet. Maybe a user is just putting some thousands records or hundreds of records as a one of the source system. Okay. Suppose we in our one of the source system we have the country codes along with different country names. So there are I think 300 countries currently in our world. So we are not maintaining any database to store this information. There should be 300 rows only in a particular country. I mean, sorry, in all the countries for a world, we have 300 countries. They're assigning some country codes for each of the country, maybe some latitude, longitude, range for another column. So maybe there are 6 or 7, 8 columns are there, but the rows are almost fixed. We are not going to introduce a new country tomorrow. So that is why sometimes they are also using some Excel as a data source based on how frequently the data is getting changed. So those are all source system, but as of now, we do not have to take in care of source system. We just need to know what is source system, and the source system is accessible by the ETL tool. If that is been there, then our work should be started to pull the information from ETL tool. First, we are pushing the data in staging layer. We are not directly pushing the data in data warehouse. In the earlier images or pictures, I have just put one arrow called ETL, which is pushing data in data warehouse. But in practical scenarios, this is not the case. First, we are loading the data in staging area. After the staging area, we are again using the ETL tool to store the data, maybe in ODS, maybe in data warehouse. ODS I just mentioned in few times ago that it's operational data store, which is also very frequent in data loading. So that is having real-time data. We are not waiting for non-business hours to load the data in ODS. Okay. I'll be just quickly showing what is ODS in the next slide as well. But let's quickly clear our concept in this architecture diagram. So first ETL tool will, our scope should be starting from here, from this blue line. We are extracting all the information from each of the source system and putting into it in the staging area. It should be also a database. Okay. All our stage table should be here only. Then we are cleaning the data. We are cleansing the data. We are transforming the data. We are aggregating the data. All those things we know in SQL part, we learn it. Cleansing means some functions we are importing. Suppose in a particular record, the data, a date field is there, which is not in date format. So you're not trying to impose the date related functions on top of that. So I need to convert the varchar related information to date. So that is how we are cleaning it and transforming. Suppose we have some record. Suppose someone is entering their name, but it's not following a proper scenarios with a block letter or with a small letter. They're putting their own way. So we need to clean and transform it before loading in data warehouse. Data warehouse is maintaining a uniformity of data from the source system. So that is why those three operation, or specifically those two operation, cleansing and transforming, is been done over here in this blue icon, ETL tool. Definitely we need the SQL over here too. And we are aggregating the data properly. Aggregation. We learned in aggregation, we learned lots of aggregation in SQL part. So similarly, same kind of aggregation we have to do over here as well. And after that, we are storing the data in data warehouse or data marts. First, we can store in data warehouse. Later, we can store it from data warehouse to data marts. It's fine. Or we can directly store in data marts. You can see through ODS. Anything we can go ahead. We can omit this ODS part as well. ODS is not required for each of the systems. Actually, I did not found ODS. I have worked with lots of clients. I found a very few they are working with ODS. Okay, they are directly removing this thing. They're storing the data in data warehouse or data marts. Okay, and all those kind of databases are useful for OLAP analysis, OLAP analysis. The reporting platforms can be started on top of this databases. Okay.
So what will ODS do?
ODS do, yeah, it's in next slide. Yeah, Ramya. Water data mart. See, I'll be coming quickly. ODS, I think you asked, correct, Rishita? Okay, here is the definition of ODS. ODS means operational data store. An operational data store is a data store used to analyze near real-time data. Real-time data means whatever data is at the source side, it's just like a streaming part. Okay, we are not lagging with the time. So you mentioned some times ago that should you wait for the non-business hours to load the data? For ODS, it's no. If there is lots of business criticality that I need to take a quick decisions. Okay, maybe for stock markets or maybe for uh, some mutual fund holders. Who is owning or who is controlling that fund and all. They have to check the graphs and they need to check lots of things. And they need to take the quick decisions on top of that. So 2 days the record is getting generated. I immediately need that record to be refreshed in my data warehouse, or rather I can say ODS. Okay, so that is why the ODS concept is there. We should not have to wait for non-business hours to load the data from source to target. Over here, the target is ODS definitely. So an operational data store is a data store used to analyze near real-time data. Real-time means as when the things are happening to solve day-to-day problem, or rather I can say time-to-time problem. This data appears at the source side. We should have to minimize the time or lag time to store the data from source to target. ODS. Okay. So this is how ODS works. And what is data mart? Data warehouse, just I told. What is data mart? Data mart is similar kind of thing in data warehouse. So we can also tell data mart is a miniature of data warehouse. Okay. We can segregate some tables from data warehouse into data marts. That is the concept. Data warehouse and data marts are almost same based on our project architecture. If they requires data mart table, so we will be segregating the some tables from data warehouse into data marts. Okay, the concept should be clear over here in this example. A data warehouse contains data from multiple subject areas for a particular department in an organization. A data mart is a simple form of data warehouse that is focused on a single subject area or functional area. Just like sales, for sales, I'm creating a data mart. For finance, I'm creating a data mart. For marketing, I'm creating a data mart. But all the things have been stored in a single data warehouse. It's just like a functional difference. Maybe you are using a separate database for data warehouse and data marts, but it's collection of all the things in a single database, and we are segregating the thing in different databases over here to understand the data mart. Okay, here is an example. So this is insurance OLTP database. Okay, but we are not putting all the thing in a single data warehouse. We are keeping data marts over here in this way. So insurance company, they are having insurance for variety things, just like commercial purpose insurance, automobiles for cars and two-wheelers. We are doing the insurance on top of this property related insurance. Okay, so this three kind of insurance I have presented over here. So each of the insurance data, we are not keeping a single data house to store all the data. Rather, we are keeping single data marts for each of the subject areas. Property data marts, automobile data mart, commercial data mart. And we are doing OLAP means OLAP analysis. Those are all OLAP systems actually. Data marts. Those are OLAP systems. On top of that, we're creating reports. So each of the reports are pointing to each of the data marts. The things is just like this, that the reports are also independent from each other because they have their own source systems for different data marts. Okay, so that is how the data marts concept is. Okay, now in data warehouse, we are almost coming to the end of the session. In data warehouse and data marts, those are nothing but a database itself. That can be just like MySQL database or maybe another database. Actually, MySQL database, what we have learned, those are not very much suitable for OLAP analysis. For OLAP analysis, we need to take, just like I mentioned, lots of queries should be useful over here. Lots of aggregation things. I need to check. Lots of volumes of data should be stored over there. So a particular database we need to choose which should be satisfy our requirement. Okay. Now, when we are storing the tables, so in data marts also we are storing the data in tables. The table can be of two types. One is called fact table, another one is called dimension table. Okay. So whatever source data we are receiving, when we are loading the data through ETL, those are all ETLs. When we are loading the data through ETLs, into data warehouse or data marts, we need to keep into consideration that the data should be stored either in dimension table or in fact table. Okay, so what is fact table and what is dimension table? This is my next concept and we'll be closing today's session. Before going to fact table, what is fact? We need to know what is fact. So fact means it is the data which will be numerical in nature. Okay, which should be answering how much, how many, these kind of questions. Those are called fact data. In my next, you can give the example. So suppose I have the data of revenue, how much revenue in dollar, how much costing of it, number of accounts. So those are all numerics value. Fact is also called measures. So those numerical values are called facts or measures. Okay. So when storing the fact information in a table, that is called fact table. So over here, I have given an example of two fact tables. One is called sales table. Another one is called billing table. All the columns are presented over here. I didn't do the rows over here. Over here, we need to clear our concept to create the columns first. So in each of the table, you can see the red color highlighted columns. Those are all facts. In the fact tables, we should be having those facts. In the sales tables, you can see sales, which is floating kind of data type. Quantity sold, which should be integer kind of data type. Price, float, discount, float. Same billing information you can see. This kind of informations are there. And on top hand side, you can see the black color things. Those are nothing but the foreign key. Why those many foreign keys are required? Because we have very less number of fact tables and we have lots of dimensions tables. What is dimensions? When I'll be coming to the dimensions, then the concept should be clear. Just recall the name, date key, store key, product key. So we should be having each of the dimension called date dimension, store dimension, product dimension. Each of the dimension, those should be the primary key. Okay. And we are keeping those keys as foreign key in the fact table, so that in the next layer we can join those tables and integrate the tables. Okay. So while creating any fact table, we just need to think what are the different dimensions I should be having. For each of the dimensions, there should be a primary key for the dimension should be there. I need to incorporate those keys over here as well, which should be residing over here as a foreign key. Okay. And the original fact should be resides in the fact table. So fact table should be consisting of all the fact related information as well as some keys which are responsible to join with the dimension table. Now I'm coming to the dimensions. Just remember those names: date key, store key, product key. So in dimensions, if we questions on top of data, who, what, when, where, whatever answer we are receiving, those are called dimension. What are different kinds of dimension can be there? Customer dimension, geography dimension, time dimensions. So those are different dimensions. Here are some those are some examples, just like store dimension, product dimension. In store dimension, we can store the data, store key, store name, all the store related information I need to store over here. All the product related information I need to store in product table. So those are all dimension table. In fact table, you can see all the transaction level data are being stored specifically on top of this. Fact table should be having huge data because each day's transaction should be there. What is the billing number, the billing amount, their costing part, maybe daily basis thousands or lakhs record should be inserted in fact table. But in dimension table, you can see how many outlets I am having. This means how many stores I am having, a store key, store name. So suppose I have introduced a new store maybe in 6 months. So till this 6 months, there is no change in this dimension table. The same table, same thing for product as well. I did not launch a new product. So there should not be any change in product table. I'll be coming this topic in tomorrow's session. The frequency of data refresh in fact and dimension. Dimensions are very slow. I mean, while refreshing the data, you can see there is no change in a particular dimension around 1 month or 2 months or just like this. Maybe customer dimensions. I have customer dimensions. There I am putting all the customer related information. Yeah, daily basis I can be having new customers, that is fine, but it is also very less number of chances than that of fact data. Okay, so fact tables are refreshing very frequent manners with high volume of data comparing to dimension table. Okay, now you can see each of the dimension table we must be having one primary key, just like in store table we have store key. In product table we have product key. We need to integrate all these dimensions through facts, because facts itself having all the foreign keys for each of the dimensions. I think you need to clear your concept what is primary key and foreign key. Most of you who have covered the SQL chapters, I think it's clear for you, but who is quite new, please go through the things. In our first or second day we have told what is primary key and foreign keys. So please check these things once more time so that your concept is clear. Okay. So that is how we are creating the dimension table and fact table. Okay. I think this is the last topic for today's session. Yeah. A quick question. So fact and dimensions, ETL, those concepts are clear for everyone? Is it clear for everyone? Okay. Yeah, I'll be going to some more details in tomorrow's session about fact dimensions, how we are integrating between them. That is called data modeling. I'll be going through this thing one by one, detailing about the ETL. So those topics, today it's a basic thing, totally basic. Tomorrow we'll be emphasizing each of the topic with have some more knowledge on top of that. Yeah, Rami, you are telling something?
Yeah, so you showed some slide where we transform the data into the charts and uh, from OLTP data to charts, right?
OLAP data to charts. Okay,
To
from
chart.
source system.
So,
Yeah, source
uh,
system is definitely OLTP.
yeah, right. So my question is like when we at what stage we do the transformation at the ETL or in after getting the data into the warehouse, data warehouse.
Yeah, in ETL, specifically ETL means tomorrow we'll be learning ETL. ETL means extract, transform, load. ETL, the naming is been showed in this way. ETL.
Right.
ETL can be done in 3 steps. Extracting the information in the source system, that is extraction. Then the next topic is transformation. Specifically, cleansing should be coming under transformation itself. So extraction, transformation, and load. Load means loading to data warehouse. So in the middle layer, ETL will be doing all those things. It can handle the SQL things as well. Okay. So ETL will be doing these things. Each layer of the ETL should be working for these things. So after extraction of this information, we'll be transforming the data. So there is a stage called transformation, which we'll be transforming the data. Okay, we'll be cleaning the data, we'll be transforming the data.
So all the transformation is done before the data is entered into the data warehouse, right?
Correct,
After
correct, correct. Yeah,
after entering the data warehouse, we just do the reporting.
correct. This is the cycle. ETL,
Okay.
extract, transform, load. E for extract, extraction from source system. T for transformation. L for load, loading to data warehouse. When we have all the transformations are ready, we can, load our data to data warehouse. Okay.
Okay. One more thing.
Yeah.
Do we need to have like can we have both data warehouse and the data marts, or we use just one?
Yeah, it's totally dependent on the project side. Yeah, as of now, I can work with some of the projects having both of them, data warehouse and data marts. Some of the project I can see only they're residing in the data warehouse. Based on data
Okay.
volumes, based on their business strategy, It's totally dependent on how the architect they are designing the project, how their funding budget is. I mean, they have having large budget. They can invest lots of things on top of IT. Then they can create separate database for data marts. Okay, but
Yeah.
both are same. Both are being stored as a table. I mean, table format. All the data should be stored over here in table format. Suppose we have customer dimension. So we are storing the customer table over here only. We are storing
Yeah,
the
so we just divide them into different categories in the data marts,
different
right?
categories. Correct. Yeah, just like finance, marketing, billing. Suppose I am
Right.
owning a banking systems. So over here, I'm storing all the, I mean, a particular branch or particular, suppose a Punjab National Bank. So all the transactions and everything is being stored over here. But the owner, the manager, they want, we have to create another database, uh, which should be the first DM1 should be taking care of all credit related information or credit card related information. This is all debit related information. Okay. This is for our fixed deposit or any extra additional things. So based on totally, I mean, all the things are there already over here. But if they want that thing should be segregated between different miniature of data warehouse, then we can go ahead with this strategy. But the main concept is same. Ultimately, we need to store the data in data warehouse with separate fact and dimension tables. Okay. Is it clear, Ramya?
Yeah, it is clear.
Okay. Okay. Tomorrow we'll be focusing on the facts and dimension and how those are getting integrated. Okay. So when transforming and loading the data, we are just loading in fact and dimension format in data warehouse. And after that, how to integrate those things and preparing for the OLAP, that thing I'll be showing you tomorrow. And after that, we'll be also learning how the ETL works. Okay. And when the course, I mean, BI is over, then we'll be learning Python and we will be using Python as one of the ETL tool to load the source data to target. Okay. So, this is one of our motto. So when we'll be learning Python as a ETL tool, then the total concept should be clear from end to end. Okay. So this is fine for everyone. Let's connect tomorrow with have some other concepts. I mean, if there is any other. Yeah, Ramya, you are telling something or it's fine?
No, it is fine.
Okay, fine. I'll be checking all the exercise. I mean, please send me the answers, whatever I have I mean given to you. Ramma, I'll be checking yours and I'll be letting you know by today. Actually, I was traveling the entire day yesterday. As I told that last week I was in Chennai for some medical issues of my parents. So the checkup has been completed. I came back yesterday and I'll be just checking all those things and I'll be letting you know.
Sure.
Okay, thanks everyone. Uh, let's get connected tomorrow. Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.